Welcome to the TriMetric Roadmap, powered by Business Freedom Advisors, the podcast for business owners who want to grow their business and enjoy their life. Hey, I'm your host, Scott Landis, creator of the TriMetric tracking system and author of Balancing Act. If you're tired of chasing success at the expense of your health, your marriage, or your peace of mind, you're in the right place. On this show, we help you track what really matters: business health, life quality, and leadership performance, all in one simple, powerful system. Because when those get out of sync, everything else starts to break down. Our goal here is to help you align it all so you can lead with clarity, scale with purpose, and finally enjoy the freedom you've been working so hard to create. And if it feels like no one's ever shown you how to pull that off, this podcast might just be the missing link you've been quietly searching for. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the TriMetric Roadmap Podcast, brought to you by Business Freedom Advisors. We're your host. It's Scott Landis and Jeff Jacob here. And today, our guest is Mahesh Thakur, the founder of and CEO of Decisive AI, where he helps CEOs and leadership teams align on their true north and unlock their next level of growth. He's a former executive at Microsoft, Amazon, Intuit, and GoDaddy, and one of the world's few master certified stakeholder center coaches, ranking in the top 0.1% globally. Mahesh combines big tech experience with deep coaching expertise, helping leaders at JP Morgan Chase, Meta, Google, Walmart, PayPal, and others create measurable transformation like doubling growth rates, speeding up decision cycles, and building stronger executive alignment. Through his Decisive AI, he blends coaching and innovation to help organizations build test and learn cultures and AI to ROI, empowering teams to make faster, smarter decisions with confidence and clarity. And we are excited to have him on the show. Mahesh, thank you so much for being with us today.
Scott, such a pleasure to be on the show with you and with Jeff. Super excited for our conversation today, and what an honor to be here with you both today.
Amen. Jeff, what are your thoughts? We've got a legend here. We've got a living legend.
If you can be in the top point something percent, top 1% of anything, that's impressive, let alone the rest of that. That's quite an impressive introduction. So it's wonderful to be talking with you, Mahesh.
Mahesh,
Pleasure
on
is
a
all mine.
personal level, I just want to say we first met about, has it been? No, it hasn't been a year. We met in Vegas earlier this year. I was so impressed with you right away. And you're a great speaker. I saw you amongst other speakers, and you were a standout. And I wanted to meet you. We got connected there. And since then, I've gotten to know you on a more personal level. We talk about families. We've met several times since then. And one thing that I just really want to let my audience know is you are impressive. We've said that a few times, but you're also humble. I mean, the way you just said, like you're expressing it's an honor to be on our show, and here you are. We're honored to have you, and you just you just have a heart-centered approach to how you communicate, and that's been my experience with you, and I really like that.
Scott, the feeling is mutual. If you've noticed those things in me, the spiritual side of me, the nurturing side of me, there's a very high chance you yourself are a nurturer and a deeply spiritual person. And I always think that just like the neurons in our brains, the universe is filled with so many intelligent, so many capable people. But I think it's an honor for somebody of your stature to be able to meet me several times and then assess that what I spoke from the stage or with you in person, it resonated with you. So I feel like if my knowledge and all this work that I've done can change one life each day, I think it's an honor. So if you chose me amongst so many people to be on your show, it's an honor. It's an honor for me, and I'm grateful for all of that opportunity to get to know you both, be on the show, and hopefully make an impact through your show to all the millions of listeners around the world.
Awesome. Thank you so much for saying that. Now, you said you are amongst a lot of people, and I want to start there. In the AI world, I mean, I guess for some people it's still kind of new, but being in the thought leader space and personal development space, I feel like AI is just like, it's almost like old school for me, right? Like, I'm not an expert on it, but I find myself being a higher level knowledge expert on AI than most people I encounter. And I'm just scratching the surface. And then there's people out there that are the gurus, that are the teachers, that are the thought leaders on AI. And it's like, well, we're both in the coaching space. So I've heard this over and over again, like, oh, everybody's a coach. Oh, Scott, the coach. Everybody's a coach nowadays. And now it's like, it's everybody's an AI expert. It's almost like this new thing, like everybody just has to be an AI expert. But you are actually a bona fide true AI expert. And I'm saying that from personal experience by checking out a lot of people. And there's something that's absolutely different about the way you speak on it, the way that your knowledge base on it. And I've seen you amongst other thought leaders in this space. And you truly are the real deal. So I just want people to know that the real deal about AI. But when it comes to this idea of like, oh, everybody's a coach, I know how to overcome that one. But when everybody's an AI expert, like, what's your response to that? I don't know if you've ever heard that, but if you hear that, how do you respond?
Sure. So I think, Scott, just like knowledge, just like books, let's take the example of books. We all have access to books. And Bill Gates has said this, so many people have said this. If you spend so many thousand hours mastering a subject, you can actually become a true master. They talk about the 10,000 hour rule. So when you think about reading a book on a certain topic, you can read and read and read. What would not matter is what's the background you come from or your education. If you're obsessed, if you're committed, you just you just go into that process, you research, you meet people, you understand the process, and you go through the hoops, and now you've truly achieved mastery. Um, I'll take an example of Dalai Lama. Nobody's going to question his ability to meditate. That's the last thing you're going to do. But to get there, you should read about him, you should meet him to know his journey and how he's gotten there. There's no question about that. You're not going to ask Bill Gates about his expertise about software, or you're not going to question Sam Altman about AI, as an example. When you think about these experts, they have been there, done that. They've gone through the hoops to create and to get to certain milestones. And similarly, in the world of in the professional world, we've all had access to AI tools. In today's day and age, it's unfortunate, but some people cannot even think straight. They straight go to a Gemini or a Chat GPT or a Perplexity and start typing even the most basic questions. They have been spending an awful 2, 3, 4, 5 hours each day. And unfortunately, just spending 10,000 hours on ChatGPT does not make you an AI master. Let me just get that out straight. Okay. It's probably going to make you very difficult to convey your own thoughts. It might actually hurt your thinking, your ability for critical thinking. We as humans are born to gain our intelligence by studying, analyzing, putting ourselves in situations, and then achieving that mastery. If you go and start to outsource even the most basic tasks to a machine or to a bot, you're going to have difficulty thinking, let alone having a proper conversation. So there's that warning for people who are unfortunately thinking that they're growing smarter by over engineering or over using the GPTs of the world. The second part is that when you have that kind of expertise with, let's assume, some tool, in that case, you want to make sure it's being of value to somebody. So if you're a leader or a business owner, is your implementation or usage of AI making your team smarter or more empowered? Is it making your customers achieve better outcomes? Or is it your family? What is it in service of? If that is not immediately happening, then you are hallucinating. And that's where I want to bring it back, saying that there are lots of people who claim that they know AI, but they just don't know where the boundaries are and how to get any outcomes or return on their investments from AI.
Mahesh, before Jeff asks you a question, just kind of for our audience sake, what is AI to ROI? Just kind of give the broad stroke, and then I'm sure Jeff will have a CFO related specific question.
I'm going to be grilled by a CFO. I didn't come prepared for that.
Good luck.
So when you think about now, there's a CFO on the call, so I better be coming with numbers. More than 90% of the AI investments are a failure. Let's start there. What is happening is that people are just jumping in with their dollars, and people are making their decisions based on what they are hearing or thinking or whatever they got sold in terms of products or consulting services. They spend months and years with hopes and prayers that finally there's going to be something that they get. Did they make their products better? Did they make their team smarter? Did their actual workflows that they were looking to automate for so many years actually finally get automated? So 90 to 92% of them are failing, meaning they are not getting the desired outcomes by the time they have planned, and the money is mostly paid up front. So it's all a big loss. So that has created a lot of panic in terms of, is this for real? I had the opportunity to be with Microsoft, be a part of Microsoft Bing search engine 20 years ago. So I've seen some of the big companies learn the art of science of not only making the investments, but then they mastered the ROI over time on how these are actually returning or getting to the results. So that's what I mean, that if you're investing in AI, how do you now, over the next 12, 18, 24 months, potentially get the ROI, which is then a much stronger signal, not just for you, but also for your teams and your organizations, that there's some return coming and that this is going in service of your business and your customers and your teams.
Okay, I have two questions so far, Mahesh. Thank you. And I'm really inspired by your numbers. That what I was reading was that 92%. What you were saying is 92% of businesses don't actually end up with an ROI from the investment. So my first question in all of that is, when you say people are investing in AI, do you mean that they're investing in people consulting with them about implementing AI, or what is the actual investment they're making?
Let's categorize these investments. For the companies who are already in the business of digital products and services, they may hire fewer consultants, but they may have their employees go embrace a large language model, or they may embrace investing in infrastructure to build and train those models. So there's that one category that you should take. Then there is the next category of companies who have some amount of products and digital products, but they don't have any idea what to do with those products, and how do you make, as an example, how do you lower the customer churn, or how do you improve the payroll system, or how do you automate the customer outreach and nurturing. Those kinds of companies may reach out to the consulting firms, who may then start to spend 6 to 12 months on just creating a strategy, but no outcome in the end. And even if they try to go from first consulting, the next thing is they may invest in infrastructure. Then the next thing is trying to see what kind of models to build. And finally, you've spent 2, 3, 4 years without seeing a single workflow or product improve. So those are the couple of categories, depending on both the size of the firm and I call it the AI maturity of the organization.
Okay, great. I only have one additional question from what you just brought up. So now I have two more. You talk about companies with digital products in particular in all of the answers you had there. What kind of companies should be investing in AI implementation? And is it just people with digital products, or is it really any company? Are there certain industries where there really just isn't much opportunity for AI? Who is AI for
Jeff, I'm so
business-wise?
glad you asked this clarifying question. And I appreciate you pointing it out, that is it only digital product companies? No. AI is an opportunity for every single company out there. First, why? Because I see AI more of a level playing field. So if you go back 10 or 20 years ago, AI was in the hands of Google's and Microsoft's and Amazon's of the world. And I've been at a Microsoft, I've been at Amazon, I've been at GoDaddy, Intuit, all these companies, billion plus in revenue, at least, right? They had the power of investing in the technology and reap the benefits. What has happened over the last 3 years specifically is that now AI has opened up to pretty much small and mid companies as well. So if you're a 10 million company, 50 million company, 100 million company, AI is there to level your playing field, because the same power that, let's say, Bill Gates had to apply AI across the products in 2005, 2010, or Satya Nadella had, you can now be Bill and Satya as long as you can dream big and you can do the right things, learning from some of their playbooks, which I'm helping bring to my customers and clients. And on that note, let's take an example of a law firm. A law firm may not be offering their services through digital products, which is okay. But a law firm definitely cares about acquiring their customers and then maintaining those records, with high confidentiality, with compliance. And that's where AI can be very powerful. Let's take the example of a construction company. A construction company is still going to spend the time for maintaining their digital assets, again, bringing the best in class ability for the customers to visualize their products, being able to nurture those customers, whether they are located in a geography or around the world. Those companies are also benefiting with what AI is bringing to them today. And there's only one downside. If they don't start considering what parts of their product or workflow or business could be automated today, it's going to be late, because just like there's compounding in making the right investments, unfortunately, the compounding effect applies even in the delay in choosing how best to use AI.
Interesting. That's really good. So it's not industry specific at all, is what I'm hearing. Is it primarily looking at what can be automated that AI can then really enhance the company and really be implemented that results in a ROI, or are there other aspects as well?
There are other aspects as well. There is
Okay.
definitely automation, but I'll give you an example. Maybe a company was not even considering a new product and an offering because it was too expensive. Guess
Mhm.
what? That ability to innovate is now possible if AI is used the right way. Let me give you an example. There is a company that we are working with right now, which has actually had only one product for the last 20 years of its presence. And they had struggles to go past 25 million. They've been dreaming of 100 million for so many years. But now, finally, with AI, we are able to help launch a new offering of theirs in less than 18 months at a third of the cost that they had originally imagined. A third of the
Wow.
cost. So if you can and because of their track record, the degree of confidence that we were able to get to for the new product is very high. So that's what I mean. Like if you can launch a product and if you can then market that effectively to the existing and then a lookalike segment of customers, you're going to go way past your target revenue goals. And at the same time, innovation, which is slow. As your company grows, Jeff, we all know, as your company grows bigger, you have silos in the company. People are not aligned. The innovation slows down. So that's where, again, this company is being able to use all the advisory, the work that we are doing, the offsites that we did with them, the planning that we did with them, help them unlock and get clarity on what that new product would be, how specifically would it be built, marketed, launched, expanded, and AI is helping us fast track that go to market plan.
That's really cool. That's really powerful. Thank you for clarifying that. So what do you think the biggest problems are for the 92% not getting to a result of ROI?
There are a myriad of challenges that they've seen, but I'll try to overly simplify
Hmm.
what is happening. There is part of the audience who doesn't have the right framework, meaning they don't think like a scientist, or they don't think like somebody who's out there to take risks. They are not even asking themselves the right questions before they get started. And that's also happening because you get the FOMO, you get the fear of missing out. You just read about your competitor in the headlines and you go, wait a second, I need to write this check, I need to get this going. And that, unfortunately, becomes a challenge. So in my AI advisory work, in my ability to work with these companies, I'm bringing to them the test plus learn framework, which is trademarked, which is from the work that I've done throughout my career working at some of these NASDAQ listed companies. I have seen how those companies think, decide to make investments, and go through the entire execution cycle to get AI to work, for that matter, to get any technology to work. And that's the one which is missing, which is really missing from many of these companies which have failed. And the other big piece of this is alignment. This is something that leaders don't recognize. If they are going into a board meeting and coming out after a week and making a huge announcement, then it's just a one-way communication. They are neither communicating nor are they achieving leadership alignment. Without that alignment, AI looks like a secret mission. It actually causes fears across the organization. And if you're going to lead with fear and not faith, we all know what the outcome is going to be. And that's something that I also work during my AI advisory. I make sure we get the right people in the room, we go through the process, and then we make sure that the communication is done so that it looks inclusive and brings more confidence in the people, because now they understand all of this is in service of either the employees or the customers or the business as a whole. And when you bring them in, there is so much power in feeling supported rather than feeling isolated, in having that faith versus having that fear of being ignored or someday being terminated at a 6:55 a.m. email on a Sunday morning.
We're definitely going to have you back, Mahesh, because yes, there are so many ways my brain wants to go. I want to make it applicable. So talking to the listener real quick, you're listening to this show because of the TriMetric idea. You are interested in not just a business health lens, but a leadership, an executive performance lens, and you're interested in balancing with life quality. And what you just heard Mahesh touch on is obviously touching all of those lenses and all those pieces that we look at through a TriMetric tracking system. And Mahesh, so I want to, we've got a couple minutes left, and I want to have you address this, right where it matters to the business owner who's like, gosh, I don't know if I should get involved in AI, or if I am involved, like, should I get more involved? What I think that we would all agree with here is, as business leaders and those who consult with business owners, is like, it's not a choice. It's not an option. Like, wake up, listener. If you are hearing this and you are not just on fire or motivated or just thinking, what am I going to do for 2026? It's coming right around the corner. The strategic plan. How does AI fit? Mahesh, what's your words for that individual who like maybe needs a little bit of a wake up call?
Well, if you're going into the new year's, you definitely want to have three things on the ready. You want to have your business roadmap, business plan, business roadmap super clear and shared across the company. And the second thing along with that is your AI roadmap, really done and shared across the company. The AI roadmap specifically will tell every individual how AI is going to help the company, the team, the product, the customer, and hopefully also some metrics which are going to move the business forward. That's where the ROI comes in. So those are the things I would say before you get into the new year, you want to have them created and shared and get the new year started the right way for the business and for your organization.
Yeah, so absolutely. So, Mahesh, I've got an idea. Let's collaborate. Let's work together. Let's do something that can benefit more people. The people that you work with, the people that we work with. Let's join forces on behalf and make sure that there's anybody who's hearing this right now, that they would say, okay, I could use some help with this. I'm not the expert. I'm barely balancing the plates on my radar right now. I need some help.
Definitely. If our forces can combine to bring the right business and AI impact for our partners and customers, it would be such a pleasure and of course an honor to collaborate.
All right, let's do it. Well, thanks for listening to the TriMetric Roadmap Podcast. Mahesh Thakur has been our guest today. I know you've been impressed. We're going to have him back because I know you've got questions. We've got more questions. We want to know more from the expert in the industry and the best advisor out there on AI, especially AI to ROI. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for listening to the TriMetric Roadmap powered by Business Freedom Advisors. I've been your host, Scott Landis. If you're growing a business but something still feels off, you're not alone. That's exactly why we created the TriMetric quiz. It's not a personality test. It's a powerful diagnostic tool that shows you where you're in alignment and where things may be silently slipping off track across your business, life, and leadership. It only takes a few minutes, and the clarity you'll gain is a game changer. Go to TriMetricQuiz.com to take the quiz now before the cost of staying stuck gets any higher. Until next time, stay focused, stay aligned, and keep building a business that truly supports your life.